Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, welcome back from the short break that we had. Today we are, or this afternoon, let me say, we are quite fortunate that we have a lady for the first time since this morning. She will be the lady that will be presenting to us. Her name is Peo Poro from First National Botswana, FNBB. Peo is a marketing and communication director, and she oversees branding and marketing portfolio with the mandate of positioning FNB Bank Botswana. She is also have been responsible for sponsorship, for corporate sponsorship at FNBB. As you may all know, that FNBB is sponsoring football and the institution of Botesa. So she will speak on her perception or the bank's perception since the bank started sponsoring sport. So welcome, Peo. You are the first lady to speak today, and we welcome you. The floor is yours. You can take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rentsungham, for that amazing introduction. And good afternoon to everybody. I'm excited to really be here and to talk to our brand as FNB's perspective on sports sponsorship. It is something that personally I'm passionate about, and that FNB as a brand is passionate about, I think, across the continent. So I will just get right into it and talk to some of our sponsorships. So we've been sponsoring sports for many years now, and we believe sports is a very powerful marketing tool, very impactful. And for us as a brand, as FNB, and as well as for the recipients. So we aim to really generate brand awareness and customer loyalty through the sponsorships that we do, and it also forms part of our corporate social responsibility. As you know, FNB has a corporate social responsibility arm called FNB Foundation. So you'll find that some of the sponsorships that we do, they come from FNB as a brand, and some come from FNB Foundation. We are committed to giving back to Botswana, and the communities that we operate within in Botswana. And some of the sponsorships that we have done, I think over the years, maybe we've sponsored now at a total of, say, 7 million, but currently our sponsorships are sitting at 4 million, where we have just renewed one for Botesa, extended by 1 year. We had done 3 million in the past 3 years, and this year we extended by 1 year. And we are still running with BFA for the 3 million. So we are sitting at about 4 million currently. Currently, the Botesa sponsorship is, as you know, Botesa stands for Botswana Tertiary Student Sports Association. This is one that we are really proud of, because we are all about grassroots development, where we want to develop sports from grassroots level going up. We are currently, like I said, at 1 year, previously a 3-year contract that we spent 3 million on. And we sponsor various fixtures within the Botesa sporting calendar, which is the tertiary education sporting calendar. This really aligns very well with our brand. As you know, we are a youthful brand, we are a youth brand, and we also bank the youth in the form of the tertiary education, the tertiary schools around Botswana. We are a primary sponsor, and the sponsorship also helps us support the schools in providing skills and coaching, as well as providing even financial literacy, where we are able to management as well as to Botesa affiliates and their players. We, from time to time, even help with paying or awarding cash prizes to Botesa competitions, where we are able to through the sponsorship. We also have the BFA, Botswana Football Association sponsorship. Like I said, currently running for 3 years at 3 million. And we are looking at the junior national teams. Like I said, focus being grassroots level and growing sports from grassroots to what they say grassroots to greatness. So we pay wages to junior national team coaches, camping costs, paying players upkeep, and as well as other obligations that we've committed to within this sponsorship. So one would ask, why did we pick this to sponsor? This is because, like I said, we are passionate about development of the youth. And if you look at some of our pillars, even in the foundation, they're all about youth empowerment and youth development. And we believe that supporting athletes from grassroots level would provide athletes with the platform to really fully utilize their skills and propel them to national and international stage. So that's really the aim of why we're doing this. And as well as we understand it is benefiting the brands. Sponsorship is an advantage for the teams, but as well as for us as a brand. So we decided to sponsor the sporting codes because having sponsorship funding allows athletes then to focus more on the training and production of their sports and reduces stress when it comes to finding money to train and nurture their talent. So we are really hoping that we can do a lot more in this to support so that our athletes can focus on the sport while we are taking care of their needs. And sponsorship between brands and teams athletes is a partnership where we both benefit, and we believe in extending a lot more to the athletes. So one would ask, what is the value that we are expecting from this? I mean, as a brand, we really receive huge national prime exposure and exclusive revenues from sponsoring. So it is a benefit to us, and we really want a lot more brands to also jump on this. It's beneficial for our employees as well to stay connected and very strongly with the health and well-being, which means the brand becomes the beneficiary of positive sentiments by the association. So working for a brand with the logo featured prominently in high-profile events makes our employees also feel somewhat, that they are employed by a bank of choice, a bank that has prestige, and their own personal status is consequently elevated. I mean, you should hear how our employees talk about the partnerships that we have, and when you're under 17 and all are playing, they become so proud and they really want to be associated with this. And even when something big happens in the athletic space, recently with the Tokyo, you even get our employees being the one, let's give the guy something. We should give the guy something, because they are really they really love the association that we get from the sponsorship. And we believe by nurturing talents of Botswana, we are contributing to the nation as a corporate citizen, and it's really our mandate to ensure that we give back to the communities. FNB Botswana sets aside 1% of their profits each year, and allocates this 1% to the FNB Foundation, which in turn we are then responsible to spending it in the communities that we operate in. And we also sponsor sports because we want to create awareness for our brand, generate leads, also speak to our audience to show that we really care about the communities that we operate in. And now during COVID time, so one would ask, how has COVID affected our partnerships? It has impacted our partnership quite heavily. We had dreams, we had plans, we had really exciting activation plans for the sponsorships that we had. And you'd imagine that, I think, just a year into signing the 3-year contracts, in 2018, 2019. Then shortly in 2020, we were hit by COVID while we had really big dreams. So it really goes without saying that COVID has caused havoc in most of fraternity sports, and sports being one of them, because I mean, sports is one of those things where you actually benefit when there is an audience. So there's been cancellation of events, of games, trainings due to COVID regulations, and this has affected the sports themselves, and even affected our plans in terms of what we had hoped to get as revenue from these. And I think it's imperative that organizations look into the future and continue to invest as a way of corporate responsibility. Because despite COVID, we know that we still get the benefit from the associations, and we still get to help because we still want to still support the sports. So disruptive technology has become normal. So we've found ways to cleverly activate through digital and having digital events. We had digital marathons where people could run from wherever they were and clock on digital what they've done. So there's a whole lot of things that we've had to do to be disruptive and to be innovative around our sponsorships. Obviously, we don't get maximum return out of what we want, as we would love to grow our brand love and awareness. But strong relationships stand the test of time. And in many cases, we really want to continue to work with our partners to ensure that we get value of our sponsorships. I see a question about how if we've had to renegotiate sponsorship. So, like I said, one of our sponsorship I think came to an end last year, which is Botesa, and we renegotiated and we extended for the 1 year. We are still continuing with the BFA one. I think it will end in 2022. There are things, yes, that need to be improved. One of which for us is to leverage really on social media. It has become a very powerful tool. I think we saw more people migrate and even start using social media during COVID-19 than before. We even saw our usage numbers in terms of our digital platform also increase. And we want to embrace virtual events, online events, as well as keeping our stakeholders engaged to keep them interested and to create brand awareness through digital platforms or social media. And we would also want to consider using athletes to endorse brands. Some of our athletes are really big brands on their own, and it's beneficial for them to associate with big brands. So not just us, we would like to see all other brands actually come into play to use some of our big athletes in their brand awareness and brand campaigns. And streaming and hosting of digital content in the right platforms to activate sponsorship or the marketing message. And Facebook streaming often does wonders for us. So these are some of the things that you should look forward to in terms of what we are sponsoring. And I think we can move past that one. I think I answered it earlier when I talked about renegotiating sponsorships. So recommendations for managing maybe sponsorship. It's really about what value do you bring to the table. Every successful sponsorship also helps the promotional partner. So you gotta use the value you bring to the table to negotiate for opportunities. For opportunities, and really, I think at this point we're at a point where some of our athletes can even just name their price. I mean, if you look at what just happened in Tokyo, they have really grown and showed us, even us as brands, that there's really value there, and we are not overpaying. The other way, like I said, look for ways to activate across various channels, digital being one of them right now, and as well as supporting the sales and revenue generation for the brands. And lastly, maybe also to just capture how many people are attending, how many people are watching, and measure the results. And therefore, you then able to come to us and say, when such and such a game is playing, I can guarantee you that this is the number of people that would actually attend. Because as brands, we are looking for value for money and return on investment. So the more numbers you show, the more data you collect and show us as a brand to prove the value that you are bringing, and then we are able to put money on the table to support to support the sponsorship. So I don't know if there are any more questions, but if in conclusion, done properly, sponsorship marketing offers so much more for us, and I think we've seen it, and we encourage all the other corporates to join and do the same. And it plays a really steering role in activating consumer behavior as well as motivating an entire system. So, like I said, some of our products have actually seen light of day through the sponsorships, such as the youth account. And football in Botswana is people's passion. I mean, everybody loves football, from men to women to kids. And some of the arts that we do as well, even support sports like music, arts, and there are countless opportunities that offer engagement, content, and sharing and value to us. And once you find the right match and unlock its power, build passion, and you are able to build for your brand. So with that, I think that's it from me. I see there's a question about, if you want to use the athletes to promote your brand, are you willing to pay endorsement fees over and above the sponsorship money? Absolutely. So we have done it. I mean, if there are some cases where we have even used athletes in photo shoots and so forth. So yes, we are willing to pay over and above the sponsorship money. So as an example, right now we're about to make a big announcement for the guys who just went to Tokyo. And from that, we are hoping to have even more endorsements over and above what we will announce. What types of measurement do you use to measure the sponsorship other than collecting attendance data? So we've got a tool in place, working with our counterparts in South Africa. We've developed a tool that I think once maybe you come to talk to us, we can share with you and show to you what are some of the things that we look for when we measure the sponsorship. I think earlier we talked about the association with the different products that we have. So Botesa, for example, aligns to our youth account. Therefore, we look at the leads that we generate in that segment through the activations that we do for it, and as well as leads generation and what we're able to get as revenue. When measuring sponsorship, what key metrics should be considered, or does it depend on the sponsorship? Yeah, it differs really from one sponsorship to another and as to why you are doing it. So for us, we've divided into two. There's sponsorship that we mainly just do for brand love, where we know that it's not like we are not expecting any return on investment, but the more our customers associate us with it, the more they will love our brand. For example, during COVID, we asked ourselves, how can we help during this difficult time? And we looked at creative industry as an example. And the money that we spent in that sponsorship is not money that we got anything out of or return on investment on. But it happened to, when we did a research a few months later, when customers were asked what campaigns they remember from us and what did FNB do, all they remembered was our creative art support and Botesa and BFA. All the other campaigns that we're doing were under all those. So it really showed us that customers love us for what we do for the communities and for Botswana. So, and then on the brand value side, that's where now we look at the data, like I was saying, and see what sort of return on investment we are able to get from the sponsorship. If we don't have any more questions, thank you for engaging with us, and thanks for inviting us, FNB Botswana. Thanks.